Welcome to Political American. This is August 3rd, 2019.
You are listening to Political American.
Thank you for coming and listening to another episode. Get what episode number I am on. Let me double check real quick. Oops. I think it's 8. 8? Oh man, I was not prepared. Not prepared at all. Horrible. I tried to prepare as much as possible. I went through this whole day going through it, getting prepared, blah blah blah. I think I'm on number 8. Last one was social media. Yeah. So this is episode number 8. And we're going to talk about the left-right paradigm. The differences between the Democrats and the Republicans. Mostly because a lot of people don't seem to understand what both sides are representing, what they're talking about in the sense. And then we're going to go a little bit more into it. So, first thing, Democrats, we're going to start with Democrats. First thing, Democrats are for equality and justice. And proof that they are about this is in some of the phrases that they use. They talk about social justice, they talk about pay equality, gender equality, reproductive justice. That's a new one. Stuff like that. And so let's define some of these words. First is justice. It's an administration of law, an establishment or determination of rights according to the rule of law or equity. That's another one that's going to come up here in a second. The quality of being just, impartial, or fair. Next is equality, the state of being equal. Really easy. So being equal to people. And we'll hash these out after we get through the definitions. And then there's equity. Equity is justice according to natural law or right. Where do I have? I don't think I had. Did I have equity on here? I don't think I defined equity on here. Something being equitable. It's usually a monetary kind of thing, as you can see, like the common stock of a corporation, risk of a risk, interest, or ownership right in property, a right claim, or interest existing or valid in equity. The difference between equality and equity, there was a thing here about justice being there. It is the establishment or determination of rights according to the rules of law or equity. So the determination of rights according to equity. The difference between equality and equity are not the same. Equality is saying that everyone has the ability to, for instance, get free K through 12 education. Okay, that's what that is. Equity is saying that same education can't be different based on the location or financial differences of those locations. Um, so I think Democrats are more for equity than they are equality. So equality, at least in when we talking about Democrats and Republicans, we're going to talk more about the broad federal uh, overreach of both of them instead of individual areas, because states should be able to do what they want, since I believe. But anyways, um, so the grand overreach is that federal rights of equality, federal uh what's the word I'm looking for, regulations for equality, are that everyone be treated equal. So it's equality in opportunity, not an outcome. The equality in the outcome is equity. Equality and opportunity is actual equality. And Republicans are kind of, or or mostly for this too. Republicans want everyone to be able to have that same start, have the same ability to reach their goals, but depending how you choose your life and go about your life is how you end up generally. That's why stuff like gender equality, or not gender equality, pay equality uh is not attainable. Everyone is paid the same to a certain extent. So if you have, it's like they like to talk about the STEM fields, or how there's women get paid less or black people get paid less or whatever. Well, they're not talking about the overarching, like, you have to break it down. You have to break it down. You can't just do a blanket statement of all fields and that equal. Like the STEM field, that's a lot of different fields. It's not really one field. The STEM category is a lot of different parts. So, for an example, I'm trying to get into heavy equipment, and if a black guy or a black woman and I go for a job, uh, we're gonna get paid the same if we get hired the same. Now, because of Democrats, we're not gonna get hired the same. Because the Democrats, now they have more equity than I do. So because there's no women, or there's not a whole lot of women, there's not a whole lot of black people in the heavy construction, heavy equipment field. A black person or a woman or any minority really, well, except for I think Hispanics and white people. It's mostly Hispanic people. So pretty much, if a black person or a woman of any race shows up, they're gonna get the job before me. So that's the equity part. And when they talk about equality, they're not talking about equality. They're talking about equity, which is not equality. Gender equality. There can't be equality in genders to a certain extent. Okay, we both have a brain. There's we both have a heart, all that stuff. Yes, we both have the same potential to work and possibly do jobs to the same satisfaction. For the most part, there are some things. There are still some things we are not equal in science. How we were made. Okay, that's just how it is. Men think differently than women. Men operate differently than women. Men can do more physical stuff, and women do more intellectual stuff. When, like, women could do a lot of physical things. It's not like not like I'm saying they just sit on their butt all day, but they could do physical things, yeah. But I mean, physical in the sense of like working construction. That's mostly a male dominated thing because it's a little harder for a woman. They can sure as hell try, but you need to be held up to the standards that are set by a majority of the men there because that's how it is. And that's equity if you're that's not equality, that's equity if you're trying to give women breaks because they're women. If you want to go to a field that requires that. If I want to go do something, if I want to go be a nurse, I got to be held up to the women's standard. And frankly, I don't want to be a nurse. You know, uh that's a hard job. It is. It's a hard job. And it's a woman dominated field. And that's what I mean. There is things that are good for women, things that are good for men. There is some men as nurses, but I guarantee you they're not getting as far as these women. And that's fine. That's fine. That's not a problem. I don't see that as a problem. There's plenty of things for men to do. If you choose to go into a field that's dominated by women, that women know how to do and do right, and you're not able to succeed, you should have figured that out. It's not my fault you're not you don't have any kind of intelligence. You should have figured that out. And, like a lot of there's a lot of men psychologists, but there's a buttload of women psychologists too. And I think it's mostly female dominated, which is fine. Which is fine. I don't see a problem in that. There's certain fields and stuff that are specifically for those, for each person. We help out society in our own ways. That's what people need to understand. Um, so that's more about the equality and equity part. So a little bit about Democrats. They want special exemption or exceptions for women and minorities, which is what I was talking about how they want businesses to hire women if they don't have any women. So if a woman shows up for a job, they're gonna help her get that job. There was a woman that went to Caltrans. She didn't have her Class A license, and they helped her through the whole process. They helped her get it. She failed. They helped her keep getting it. She failed again. She failed like 5 times, but she never got fired. She stayed. Now, if it was me, I would have got fired, but they helped her, and that's what Democrats want: is unfair help to someone. It would, if I went to, like, if I wanted to apply, like, let's just say that it was reverse, okay, and I applied to Ebony magazine and I messed up several times, couldn't really do stuff, and all the other black guys got fired, but I stayed on. Don't you think people would be pissed off at that? I'm pretty sure people would be pissed off at that. So you got to think of it in that way. Flip it around. Um, you can't just. I don't think I should get any special treatment, and I don't, and I don't think anyone else should get special treatment. And we'll talk about the special treatment part in either another episode uh or maybe later. I don't know what I want to do yet. Um Democrats, they don't talk about anything about they're mostly about certain minorities, not all minorities. So they don't try and help out Asians or Jews or Micronesians or stuff like that. There's a lot of different smaller groups that they don't try and help out. They're mainly about Black, Hispanic, and women. Um, The main reason is because the white vote is pretty much 50-50 in this country. So they try to appeal mostly to black, Hispanic, and now recently women. They're trying to get the woman vote as much as possible. They're really trying on the Hispanic vote with the whole border stuff, and trying to get um, the people over here so that they can vote, and a lot of stuff with like California and the driver's licenses. And that you a lot of people say that illegals don't vote. They vote. They vote. Don't kid yourself. They vote. There's nothing about. There's no. You want to sit there and say, "Oh, they." How do you know if they get their paycheck sent to their address? Okay, it doesn't even matter if it's it doesn't matter anything. If they get a bill, okay, if they get a bill sent to their address, you don't have to have say proof you're a citizen to sign up for electricity. You don't have to prove that you're a citizen for cable. You don't have to prove shit, okay? So if they bring that bill, say I live here, and then they give their, AB whatever freaking legislation in this state did it to where there's gives illegals driver's licenses. Um Now they can show that same address, and they could go to the voting booth, and no one's gonna fucking know. No one's gonna know it. Your name's not on it. Nothing happens. So yes, there is ways. You think that there's not ways? There's ways for these people to get in there and vote. You're sadly mistaken. Sadly mistaken. Um. So since the 50s, the sad part is since the 50s, Democrats have, at least the 50s, have passed legislation upon legislation that have hurt black communities and the black family. And they continue to say that they're trying to help the black community, the black family, all that stuff, and they continue to hurt it. Uh, Lyndon B. Johnson did it. Carter did it. Uh, Clinton did it. Obama did it. Regardless of what you think, they hurt the or the black community. If the current state of the black community is solely because of the Democrats. Look at every place. You look at Baltimore. It's run like crap. Okay, you look at Chicago, crap. A lot of these states and cities and everywhere, they're run like crap, and it's Democrats. And it's mostly what's really sad is it's mostly black Democrats that are hurting their own community, which you would think it would be the other way around. But for some reason, these Democrats have brainwashed these people. You're being brainwashed. So, what else? Mostly until since I was born, pretty much, Democrats were the racists. They were largely the racists. They thought they were racist means you're superior. You think your race is superior to other people, to other races. That's what that means. That's what racist means. So, with the advent of the Ku Klux Klan, Jim Crow laws, ever since Andrew Jackson, they've been racist. And then all of a sudden, they're not racist. And the Republicans are the racist. It's amazing. So what is it? They're promising people stuff, and some people are still baited into it. It's kind of amazing. It's kind of amazing how to watch how brainwashed people can be. But they're waking up. They're waking up, thankfully, with the with all this new information. As time goes on and more walls are breaking down on information sharing, it's good to see that with the Brexit movement, the walkaway movement, all this stuff, that information, the more information that proliferates and the more we find out, the more the Democrats are held, their feet are held to the fire, and people see that they're not all they were cracked up to be. Versus if you really look at the differences, you have all the corruption that you've seen, that we have seen just recently with the Democrats. There was I forgot the guy's name who leaked it, but all the stuff from the DNC about Hillary and rigging the whole thing for the on the Democrat side so that she would win the nomination. They talked about what was it? What was it? The Hispanics were like taco truck voters or some shit like that. Like, come on. That's what these people actually talk about. It doesn't matter what they say to your face. Behind closed doors, we have actual proof of what these people say about you, and you're still gonna blindly support them. Okay. But on the other side, Republicans are more for freedom and liberty. Freedom is about the absence of necessity, coercion, or constraint, or constraint. Okay, I read that right. I was just making sure. In choice or action. The liberation from slavery or restraint or from the power of another, basically independence. The equality or state of being exempt or released usually or released usually from something onerous, unrestricted use, frank open. So freedom means basically to the Republican Party about you being able to, for the most part, do what you want as long as you're not hurting someone else. So that's good. Being not having the government constantly on you about what you're doing in your house, like especially some places here in California, being able to smoke in your house, and then but if you smoke in your house, in some places, you got a problem. You're gonna go to jail, and it's ridiculous. So just having the freedom from government overreach is nice. Liberty is the power to do as one pleases. It also kind of goes with freedom. Freedom from physical restraint, not locked down, power of choice. Choice. Um, so liberty and freedom is about, the American dream pretty much. Being able to do as you feel is good for you, and basically to do what you want, and as long as it's not hurting other people. And also freedom and liberty is also the fundamentals for the Libertarian Party to a certain extent. But the Libertarian Party takes it more extreme than the Republicans do. Republicans aren't as cemented in those two words as the Libertarian Party is. They have a what is it, non aggression pact or something like that. You not to have, if you get into it as a libertarian, if you get into the presidency, it is your duty not to use the government to go after people, not to start wars, not to do stuff. So it's very it's there's they're very they're very adamant about that pact, which is fine. That's what I mean. They go a lot farther than the Republicans. Um, since the start of the Republicans, which is Lincoln, pretty much. He wasn't like the first Republican, but he was the first president. He was first Republican president, and that's basically the start that launched the Republican Party. Uh, they were they were about freedom. They were anti-slavery. It doesn't matter what you say, what you've heard about Lincoln not wanting to free the slaves. He was more about stopping the Civil War than he was about slaves. And then as the Civil War went on, that changed. His viewpoints changed. So because in 6 months' time, because of how things happened, someone can't change their mind. That's what you're basically saying. He had to be for slavery, I guess, because at one point he was for slavery. Okay. Um, it doesn't matter. He was anti-slavery. He freed the slaves. No Democrat did that. That was a Republican. Um, they were pretty much anti-war at the time, but that's kind of shifted back and forth through the years. They're more for individual liberty, what we talked about, and freedoms. But let's go more into, well, also in contrast to Lincoln, Andrew Jackson, the first Democrat, uh, they called him a jackass. They called him several names. And that's how the Democrat Party got into or got used the donkey as its symbol, is because Andrew Jackson made the Democrat Party and adopted the jackass because he got called the jackass. So that's why there's a donkey. I don't know why the elephants are Republican yet. I figure that out. But I'm pretty sure someone knows, but it wasn't important at the time. A lot of stuff that Jackson did was, he was pretty much white supremacy. If you want to talk about white supremacy, he was white supremacy. And that was, that was more proliferated at the time. It was more abundant, and then over the years, started getting chiseled away during towards closer and closer we got to Lincoln. More and more abolitionists. Sorry, more and more abolitionists showed up and started changing mindset. The difference. So let's fast forward to today. We just had a Democrat president not too long ago, and now we have a Republican one. The Republican one has lowered unemployment way more. He hasn't really lowered unemployment, let's say. Because presidents don't really make jobs. Your job isn't to make jobs. Your job isn't to foster, or your job is to foster an atmosphere for jobs. So you know, Trump didn't lower the unemployment, businesses did. But because of Trump's policies, uh, under his administration, unemployment has lowered to record lows, more than 17 plus years, pretty much, if not longer. I don't know what the current figure's at, but that's across the board. Across the board, he has fostered under Trump. You have seen less unemployment than pretty much any other president. And it was quite the opposite under Obama. It got pretty bad for a while. Pretty bad. Businesses are taking off and getting more prosperous. They're gaining money. And in that respect, the income of people, the general income of people, have gone up largely, by leaps and bounds, which is nice. He's done a lot of, in contrast to Obama, Trump is more anti-war. Obama, if you don't realize, Obama nuked, or not nuked, but he bombed a lot of places. He started a lot of wars. He was over in Syria and Libya and I think Lebanon. He was over in a lot of places. He did a lot of stuff. And in contrast, you have, maybe I'm not breathing while I'm talking because I'm yawning for some reason because I'm not tired. I just got up not too long ago. It's weird. In contrast, you have Trump that meets with Kim Jong Un in the DMZ zone, or in the DMZ in between North and South Korea, trying to stop that war because we're just at a ceasefire. The Korean War is still technically going. It's been going for 60 plus years. And he is the first president that has made any kind of attempt to fix that at all. Water break, sorry. And I mean, he's signed, and this is what people don't see. This is what people haven't seen firsthand, is that he's signed bills to prevent veteran suicides, to preserve public lands. He passed a Genocide Prevention Act, which basically means that if a country, if some other country starts committing genocide, it is now a threat to national security. So no one's gone that far. No one's ever gone that far. He has just signed something. This apparently racist, bigoted, freaking horrible person just signed stuff into law that makes us go after people that are trying to kill a bunch of people. Like this person that apparently xenophobe, that apparently doesn't care about other people in other countries, just signed a law saying that we care about other people in other countries. Swear. Legislation to enhance U.S. leadership in Indo-Pacific region. What's this Ashanti Alert Act? The Farm Bill, and welfare reform, work requirements. I've always said that if I'm gonna go get welfare, it would be nice for me to get technically, like, not like a free job where I just work for free, but like in a sense, working certain hours in order to get the welfare check, which is nice because then you're getting, you're technically working for that money, but also you, uh, you're put in a situation where now you can talk to other people. You can go meet people. You can start networking with people and you can get a better job. You're not going to get a better job sitting in your house on your computer watching fucking Netflix, okay? So that's a perfect idea. Um he legalized uh the production of hemp by farms. Well, of course farms, but um in all 50 states they can make hemp. Obama never did that. This dude made it legal to produce hemp, which is going to change everything. It's going to make your cars better. You can run on hemp oil or, well, hemp gas, I guess, technically, for longer than natural gas. And this thing grows so fast that it's not like corn. It's like a million times better than that corn stuff. So we can replace the corn with the hemp, and it's less disastrous for the soil, for the environment. It's awesome. Like hemp is the shit, and he did that. He supported Tibet. Um, he tried to he's going after Chinese officials that are trying to restrict access to Tibet. So Tibet has been that was like a free Tibet thing back in the 70s, man. Like it's been a long time. Tibet has always been they've been trying to be their own little thing, and it's basically on top of a mountain, like they have nothing, and China keeps messing with them and trying to like establish their dominance over them, and so he brought that back, which is amazing. Um, opioids. I can't even say it. Opioids. Uh, he's helping with the opioid epidemic, which no one's been touching on. You haven't heard a single Democrat, I think, unless I could be mistaken, talk about the opioid epidemic. No one's talking about this stuff. Um, boop, that we can. Let's see the Ashante Alert Act. What is this? Establish a national communication network to assist. Oh, basically for missing adults. Oh, missing adults instead of missing children. Missing adults. I did not hear about. It looks like it's because of a person, and I'm ignorant because I do not know what the person is. I don't watch the news, so I try not to. Um, all this stuff. Let's see here. Music modernization to change copyright laws. Biggest change in copyright laws for decades. Help patients stop overpaying for medicine. He allowed medicine to be bought from Canada. From Canada. Um, ending signs on ending signs. He signed a law ending gag orders against pharmacists sharing money saving information. Um, there was a gag order placed by someone. I wonder who did that. Let's see who did that. It doesn't say. Find the source. Who put that in place? Let's see if we can find that. It does not say who put that in. You would think someone would talk about that. Whatever. We can keep going. Like, there's tons and tons of things. Like, seriously, try to nonpartisan look up his achievements. Like, nonpartisanly. Don't go to your BuzzFeed or your fucking, what is it? Jezebel or whatever it is, or fucking, what was the other one? Bustle. Don't go to your leftist bullshit shock jock sites. Those are ridiculous. They're gonna be gone in 2 years. Tim Pool just did a video about how Vice and all these other ones, the people that took over for Gawker or bought Gawker, they're all losing money. They're all losing money. It's a fear platform. They built off of fear. And all these places, once they're gone, all that fear is going to be gone. No one's going to be doing the shock jock fear shit anymore on the left. And that's what they did for the longest time, for years. And it really ramped up. And then they lost a bunch of money because they couldn't keep up with it. They couldn't, people just got sick and tired of it. But this right there, right here, look at this. He signed a law creating a national historic park for Martin Luther King Jr. This racist made a park for Martin Luther King Jr. Like, we can talk. We're gonna talk about that, I think, in another episode. Episode 9. We're gonna talk about the whole what's it called? I have it right here because I have them saved. It is critical race theory. That's what we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about critical race theory because that's about how the left has overblown the word racism and white supremacy and white privilege. And we're going to talk about that. That's going to be good. But I'll try and write down some things that he's done and that Trump has done to show you that yeah, I get it. He's not the greatest speaker. I sure as hell ain't. But he's not the greatest speaker. He's got problems. Yeah, he's got problems. Of course he's got problems. Everyone's got problems. You know, he's not perfect. I'm not fucking saying he's perfect. I got issues with him too. But I don't care about what he says. I don't care what he's doing in his personal life. I don't care what he did in his personal life. I care about action. I could give two shits about what the fucking dude is doing over in Washington, D.C. I don't care what he's saying. He could be saying the N-word all freaking day. I don't care. Okay, just as long as everyone in America is able to work, we can live our lives, we can do stuff. I don't care if it's a black guy saying screw whitey all day. Okay, I don't care. I don't really care. At the end of the day, my paycheck, my job, my house, taxes, stuff like that, and the security of all that from not getting nuked by a foreign power is what I care about. That's what I care about. Why do you have to get so wrapped up in all the little things that everyone does? Well, does he poop with white toilet paper or brown toilet paper? That makes him a real racist. He uses white toilet paper. Like, why? Why? Stop. It's ridiculous. That's pretty much it today. Thank you for, if you followed all the way to the end, thank you for following all the way in. I know it's hard, probably extremely hard. I don't understand why people listen half the time, but I guess there's some kind of reason. Please go to, I'm gonna put it back on the screen. Let me that again. Boop. Please go to anchor.fm and look me up and send me public site anchor.fm/political American. You can listen live on a lot of different on pretty much every podcast platform. You can also support this podcast, which would be nice. Anything you can support, it doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be a bunch of money. I don't really care. 10 cents, I don't care. Just support is nice. Even if you send me a message, you can send messages. I will get them. Here we go to make a new episode, and messages right here. I'll get messages. I got one message from someone on the 14th. They basically just said that they liked the video and come watch my video. That's about it. But you can send messages and I will include them in the podcasts, depending on what you say. But yeah, I can include messages. It's nice. So come by and help out. Help the episode or help the show. Help us grow. Give me feedback, give me comments, even on YouTube, which I'm sure that I have a video. Back to this one. I have videos I post. I do a video version of the podcast first, and then I strip the audio out and put it on the podcasting, on Anchor, because it's audio only, so that people can listen to it. So there's a video version at YouTube. I will probably grow to other sites as well from YouTube, like DTube or Stream It or something like that. I don't know some of the other ones, but you can watch video or audio, so that's up to you. Thanks again for watching, and you guys have a good time. Till next time.